I just ate at the hottest restaurant here at Resorts World, their #1 restaurant, and I totally regretted the experience. I did something at this dinner that I have only done twice before in the last decade, and I had to do it a third time here at this dinner, unfortunately. Now, Fuhu is the restaurant I'm talking about. It is run by Zouk Entertainment Group. They have all the hottest venues here at Resorts World. They have Ayu Dayclub, they have Zouk Nightclub, they have a speakeasy here. They have all of the coolest venues. I was so excited to check this out. This place is the epitome of cool, and plus, it is the talk of the property. Just the walk to Fuhu is really special. It begins in the district area of Resorts World. That's where they have all of their dining and their shopping. And you pass the giant orb, which is the staple and the hallmark and the sensation of this Resorts World property. From the outside, the appearance is so unique and very attention-grabbing. The sakura trees really pull you in, and it actually reminded me from the outside a little bit, just a little bit, of Vanderpump over at Caesars. So you walk through that keyhole door, and the entrance is a little reminiscent of walking into Catch at Aria or Hakkasan at MGM Grand. The sakura trees are gorgeous. They are both right side up and upside down, and they are placed throughout the entire property, even on the ceiling. There is a DJ in there from time to time. A DJ did come in later, and if you're wondering why there's nobody at the restaurant, it's because I was pretty much the first person there. Believe me, the place definitely filled up as I was finishing my dinner. Fun fact, Fuhu was actually voted the #1 place to have the best time ever at your table. And if you hadn't guessed it by now, based on the name or the decor, Fuhu is an Asian-inspired restaurant. All right, drink #1 was the Heart of Fire. It was Serrano chili-infused Avion tequila, Dos Hombres Joven mezcal, passion fruit, honey, and egg white. I don't see too many tequila and egg white drinks. I was definitely curious. You know I love an egg white drink. They're just so silky and velvety and smooth. And the other thing I liked is that he did the presentation, a little bit of artwork with the foam right in front of me. I think that was a neat little touch. Appetizer #1, this is the Kari Kari Toro Tartar. I was really excited about this dish. I love a tuna tartar, and this was Toro Tartar. Toro is the fatty belly of the tuna. The fattiness adds better marbling and more texture and more taste to the dish. This had truffle croulier, mustard miso, and ponzu. When it came out, I was taken aback, borderline astonished. I honestly didn't think the dish was for me because I've never seen tartare come out this way. It looked like soup. It looked like baby food, and it did not look appealing. This absolutely was the best dish I had all night. So that dish was delicious, but it was also very small and quite expensive. At this point, I needed to gather myself and quarterback this meal because I knew I was going to be in for an expensive one. I wanted to look over the menu, and while I did that, I ordered my second drink. This is the Fallen Embers. The name is a dead giveaway. It is a smoked old-fashioned. The bartender used the canister method or the lid method to plumb smoke into the drink, and as you can see, when he torches it, embers go everywhere, hence the name Fallen Embers. Dish #2 is the Buttery Snapper. This is the dish I was most looking forward to, and that's a big and bold statement considering the upcoming 2 dishes. I was over the moon on this dish. I was salivating over it. I was fawning over it. I was so excited to get it, and when I got it, it was terrible. It was basically just like drinking salt water. You couldn't taste any of the food components that I just mentioned. All of them were overrun and neutralized by the egregious amount of salt. It was so egregious, I actually had to return the dish. It's only the 3rd dish that I have returned in the last decade. 2 steaks and this dish, that's it over the last decade. I'm a really easy guy to please. It's really a disappointment because, again, this was the dish I was most looking forward to. Dish #3 is the Highland Roll. This is a $150 sushi roll. I had a $150 sushi roll at Kumi over at Mandalay Bay, and it was unbelievable. It was well worth the money, which seems a little counterintuitive because some might think that $150 is too much to spend on any type of sushi roll. Let me tell you something. The one over at Mandalay Bay was unbelievable. I would order it again in a heartbeat. This $150 roll, the Highland Roll, is lobster, mango, A5 Wagyu, Toro Tartar, caviar, and truffle ponzu. So pretty much the same setup as the one over at Mandalay Bay. The problem is that it wasn't even close to the one at Mandalay Bay. It wasn't close in terms of taste. It wasn't close in terms of size. It wasn't close in terms of the presentation. And it wasn't close in terms of the experience. Remember the one at Mandalay Bay was hand-delivered by the head chef himself. He introduced it. It was on that gorgeous platter. This one was really basic. And in fact, the second it came out, my heart dropped a little bit. I was expecting a lot more from an experiential standpoint. The experience is a big part of a dish that is this expensive. It's the intangibles that really make it worthwhile or not. and I gotta say, this one was a major letdown. At this point, I am so hungry because all I've really had was one sushi roll. I returned the one previous to that, and then that toro tartare. It was a small dish. It was so small I had to eat it with a baby spoon. So I'm hungry, and I'm really not sure what I'm thinking at this point. I think I'm just on tilt because I think I'm searching and grasping and clinging to something that's going to be good, and it just hasn't come my way. So I think I forced this next dish. In fact, I know I definitely forced it. I went with the A5 Wagyu. This one was from Mitsubishi, Japan. And I thought it was a sign, right? I'm like, oh, Mitsubishi, it's close to Mitsubishi. I'm going to order it based off name. I never really have heard of that prefecture before. I like trying Wagyu from different prefectures in Japan. I'm going to go ahead and give this one a shot. Now, I couldn't decide between ordering it medium rare or tataki style. And whenever I'm on the fence about how I should get it presented, or if I'm looking for a tiebreaker, I always default to the chef. I'll just say chef's preference, chef's choice. Have the chef cook it to his preference, and I'll just take it whatever way it is. It ended up coming out tataki style, which I really wasn't disappointed about. In my experience, when Wagyu like this does come out colder, you really can't taste the fat content as well as you could if it came out warm or hot. There is one silver lining about this dish, and that is the price. Typically, A5 Wagyu goes for $70, $80, $90, $100 an ounce. This specific one from this prefecture was only $55 an ounce, only. I think I got caught up in the name, the Mitsubishi Gold Strip Loin. So at this point, I'm on tilt. I just had 3 lackluster dishes in a row. The last 2 combined were over $300. I'm really not having the best experience, but I don't want to end it on a negative. So I make one more shot at it and I order dessert. So at this point, I'm looking for any positive experience to capstone the meal. I end up ordering the egg custard, and this dish was actually pretty delicious. It comes out on this gigantic platter. Everything is presented very nicely. You can see the strawberries and the sorbet and the egg custard, and then to top it off, they do the dry ice theatrics, and this thing is billowing. The smoky effect didn't just engulf the entire dish, it engulfed the entire bar. It was quite the scene. It was definitely a spectacle, and it tasted just as good as it looked. I'm actually glad I was able to end this dinner on a high point. So if you saw my experience video, I actually called the meal good. And it was good, I stand by that. But good at $550 doesn't cut it. At $550, it better be excellent, it better be outstanding, it better be sensational, it better be mind-blowing and life-changing, and it just wasn't. It was far from it. I was hoping to get a lot more for my money, but there were some redeemable things about this restaurant. First of all, I love the atmosphere. I am so obsessed with those Sakura chandeliers. The place just felt cool. It definitely oozed cool, and I could see why it is the hottest and coolest restaurant here at Resorts World. One more great thing about Fuhu was the staff, the service. All of them were excellent. They were friendly, they were on it, they were eager to please, they were professional, they were courteous. And I want to emphasize this, the management there took back that dish. I didn't have to pay for it, the buttery snapper. And I really respect and appreciate that. It was no questions asked. I just had 2 pieces and I didn't eat the rest of it. And they said, no problem, absolutely. Didn't fight me on it whatsoever. And that's always great because sometimes that can be an awkward situation at the restaurant. They had no problem with it. They took it back immediately, no questions asked. And that really meant a lot to me. I like restaurants that stand behind their product and really emphasize customer service. Fuhu definitely did that. The management there and the staff there were amazing. So who knows? Maybe the dinner just didn't come together. Maybe it was an off night. Maybe the place just has too much hype around it. All I know, and I know this for certain, I just spent $550 at Fuhu, and I absolutely regret it.